good to see you again. It's been a while since the last conversation. My voice might have changed. I'm not really sure why, but it did. So don't make a thing of it. Anyway, we were talking last time about the Death Star and how it exploded and how it was basically my home just, right, just. Anyway, I'm gonna blame that Luke ground runner doofus. But I also wanted to straighten something out. Now, yes, I was in charge of the Death Star plans, but the plans were fine. There was no flaw. Someone, hang on. It gets really sweaty in here. Someone just figured out where the hole was, how to get in, and used it for purposes it was not made for. So, I drew schematics. Okay, so basically, here's the Death Star, right? There is the hole. You go in here, and there's a, hang on a sec. That doesn't look completely correct. It's more like, just, it's more like a chamber. Like a really big black chamber. There we go. Alright, so here's the hole, here is the tunnel, and here's the chamber. Now in this chamber is the power core, and with the power core are a bunch of power cells. Now, I wasn't in charge of putting the power cells in. That wasn't my job, that was CJ, we're going to put it on him. But someone figured out that this hole was over here. I mean, it wasn't exactly hard to spot, it was pretty big, but that's not the point. The point is, it's obvious that this was made for maintenance, nothing else. Someone else took it upon themselves to use it to saboteur. Okay? So, my lord, it's hot in here. So basically, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I was fine, they were not. Actually, it feels better. Kind of feels like I was just talking to a therapist. Thanks. Meant a lot. Anyway. The Death Star, as we all know, gone. Nothing I can do about it, right? But I didn't finish telling you the story of my home planet, where my wife and my kids were. You see, it all started when the ship came down, adopted me practically. Well, no, more like recruited, brought me on, made me a stormtrooper. Now, there's a reason I'm not on that planet right now. It's a bit of a long story, but I'll break it down for you so that your small brain doesn't fry from it. So anyway, basically what happens is I'm on a mission, right? Just happens to be a mission on the moon that's circling, orbiting my home planet. So I kind of thought, hey, it's like I'm going back home, but not really. I can look down from the moon, and see, well, probably the mountains. See my wife, my kids. Okay, it's probably not that close, but you get what I'm saying. So, I'm stationed on the moon. I don't even remember what the moon was called. It was like a fruit, grape, or maybe we were just comparing it to a grape. So, what we were doing is, it was like surveillance, right? We were trying to make sure that the planet was safe, that the moon was safe, and that nothing was going wrong. Now, there was a problem when we showed up. I don't know if I was the only one that noticed it or not, because it's like no one else paid any heed to it. So, what I did is I made it my mission to focus on that part of the moon thing that I was on. I should know what it's called. Called the grape. And it didn't feel right that this was there, that this was happening. So I kept my eye on it. And CJ, my good friend, he noticed it too after a while. And hang on a sec. Probably should have installed an air conditioner in here. Anyway, we were sitting down chugging some blue milk. That's right, we still had it. Some blue milk. And I think he had one too many. I don't know. I wasn't really counting. Who counts when you drink? Anyway, we were talking about the weird things going on this planet, on this moon. And he pointed out something I didn't even notice. There has been whispers. Whispers. I asked him, well, where were you when you heard these whispers? And he said, I was in my tent. And I said, we have tents? And he's like, where have you been? I said, I've been over there in the crater. I've been camping out there. He's like, what are you camping out in? And I go, I don't know. So anyway, we're talking about the whispers. And he mentions to me the exact location of his tent. So we actually went over there. Yeah, we did. And it's night. And the sun is gone from here to here. Not that that means anything to you, because you weren't there, but it made a difference in light. So we went from here to here. Now, when we got to, was it the crater? No, it was to his tent. When we got to his tent, I noticed that there was kind of like a cave over in the west. And that cave, why are people texting me right now? This is a horrible timing. Stop it! Anyway, the cave is where he'd been hearing the whistling, the whispering, right? And so I said, why don't we just go check it out? So we did. We went into that cave, we checked it out, and it's just moonbats. I'm not really sure why that was. Yeah, there was moonbats. And so I told him, no, CJ, I got nothing to worry about. And he's like, okay, I don't know, man. There's something about these moonbats. Something, it's not them. The whisper was very distinct. And I looked at him and I go, I think you're distinct. And he goes, what does that mean? I go, I don't know. So let's go back to work. So we put we just dropped the conversation, and he went back to his tent and I went back to my crater. Now, here's where it gets kind of sketchy. So, I hear the whispers, and it's probably like, I don't know, 1700 hours or so. And what time is that? They never really taught us that. Anyway, I heard someone else saying it sounds really late. And so it was really late, and I hear the whispers, and I'm wondering, where it is? What? He was right. Where's it coming from? I'm not even near a cave. Well, it turns out there's something living in the sand. Yeah, there's sand on the moon. My moon, not your moon. Well, maybe on your moon. I don't know. I haven't been on this planet for very long. I've never been up to your moon. Don't ask me why. Anyway, there was a shifting in the sand. So I started paying attention. I turned on the recording device in my visor, and I did. I recorded everything. And it was night vision, so, it was fairly detailed. And I captured the whole thing, just the sand's kind of shifting around like that. And, yeah, you can call me Mittens today. Lost my standard issue gloves. I don't know where they are. They might be at the Build-A-Bear, where I got these gloves. So, I finished recording. It took about, I'd say like 15 minutes. And I recorded the whole thing. The sand, right? So, the next morning I go to CJ and I said, CJ, you've got to watch this. He goes, what are you talking about? And so I took off my helmet. You kind of have to. And I put it on his head, and I hit the play button, and then he took it off, and he had this look on his face like, you're kidding. And it looked just like that. And I said, I'm not kidding. I was there, I heard the whispers. You were right. But I don't have a cave, so I'm not sure where it was coming from, where you were hearing it from. He said, oh, I heard it from the cave. I said, well, it wasn't a cave for me. So, anyway, we never really did figure out what it was, but that really did not sit well with me, that there was something on that moon that we didn't know about, that we didn't understand. But, it is what it is, right? So, anyway, main point of the story. Let's get back to that. So, on the moon, doing surveillance, keep an eye on my planet, trying to see if I can spot my wifey, and it's a little further away than I remember, and the planet looks a little bit bigger than I remember, and yeah, so we established some turrets, just in case we had some guests arriving, if you know what I mean, and it was quite peaceful there, until Order 66. You've probably never heard of this, and if you have, tell me about it. I wanna hear your end of it. I wanna hear your story, how it affected your life, because it affected mine. It took my life away, and I'll explain how. Basically, Order 66 was reissued. This had been issued years ago, with the clone troopers, the first set of clone troopers that came in. They, when the Republic was kind of getting a little more chaotic, Order 66 was issued, and then all those Jedi's just went down. Fortunately, I wasn't there for that, because I can't handle killing a man. Anyway, he issues Order 66 again, but he said something about, watch the flames. Order 66. Watch the flames. I had no idea what he was talking about. So I looked at CJ and I go, did you catch that? And he goes, yeah, I did. You know what watching the flames is about? And I go, I don't. I really don't. So basically, when Order 66 is around and you don't have an enemy in front of you, you get geared up, you get your rifle, and you go to the ship. So we did. We went all the way to the ship, and they decided we're just going to send you back to the moon. Or the Death Star, right. And so as we're heading back, I notice the Death Star starts to rotate, right? And I'm watching this giant, not a moon, but a space station turning like this, and then it stops. And it just so happens to be looking at me. And I thought, is something on my face? Is it the mask? Is it scary? But then I look behind me, because I'm thinking, well, it can't be our ship. Our ship is on the way there. Where did I just leave from? The moon, which is next to what? My planet. Yeah, I think you know where this story's leading. We hear the charging of a laser. I think it's stupid loud. We hear the commander of the ship saying, brace for impact. And we're thinking, what, are we going to run into the laser? So I did what he said. We grabbed a hold of each other. We held on to the safety supports, which is basically like a handle that comes down, and it's made of like a really strong material. So you hold on to it, and then it brings the belt down, and you can like strip something. It's really cool. Anyway, we're holding on to the safety supports, and the laser's fired. Keep your eye on the fire. I finally understood. Because when I turned around, what was once a planet was nothing more than space debris. Yeah, my planet was taken from me by the Death Star. So technically, I'm not really too upset with the fact that Death Star was blowing up, but I'll never be able to forgive myself for having let myself be recruited as a stormtrooper, because I couldn't die with my family. Anyway, that's the story of what happened to my home, happened to my planet. We never did figure out what those whispers were, but really that doesn't matter. What matters is that the people I trusted failed me. I'm pretty sure they spiked my blue milk, because I woke up. And I woke up in my bed on my planet. You thought this was going to be a sad ending, didn't you? When have I been known to be dramatic? Anyway, that was the story of how I thought I lost my home, and then how I woke up sweating in tears. Stormtroopers don't cry, you know, but... oh my god. Okay, well, I lost the replacement gloves. I swear, I can't keep anything. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. But Bozo's still out of town. I'm going to take advantage of this. And I'm going to fill you in on some more interesting things that happened to me as a stormtrooper. And what happens on the Death Star before it blew up. How do you turn this